Good afternoon, class. My name is Manuel Refutation, and the topic I'll be talking about is abortion, and I will be refuting Jasmine Churchill's claim that women can choose if abortion is necessary for their mental and physical health, and she supported her claim with 3 secondary claims, the first being that abortion is needed for the health of victims of rape, the second being that women who receive abortions are less likely to suffer mental health problems than women who are denied abortion, and the third one being that the ability of women to have control of her body is a civil right. I will respond to the first claim, and although yes, abortions can be helpful for victims of rape, that not necessarily that all victims of rape are female and are able to conceive a child. The Department of Justice and the Bureau of Justice Statistics in 2017 found that 10% of rape victims are male, and as well that the main claim focuses on women in general rather than just rape victims, and that abortions, and it was found by the Gushmer Institute in New York that abortions are used mostly as a contraceptive, and that 74% of cases of getting abortions are due to people not economically ready to have a child, and only 1% being that they are rape victims. The second claim that she had made was that women who receive abortions are less likely to suffer mental health problems than women who are denied abortions. And in a report appointed by the Council of Representatives of the American Psychological Associations and a task force on mental health and abortion, they found evidence that indicates that among adult women who have an unplanned pregnancy, the relative risk of mental health problems is no greater if they deliver the pregnancy or if they have an abortion. And however, there is a link. They have found that there is a link of mental health problems with multiple abortions or with women who have planned pregnancies and either had miscarriage or a formal abortion. This undermines the claim she had made due to the fact that it seems that there are more health problems with getting an abortion rather than just going through with the pregnancy. As well, I have a personal story that connects to this evidence that my aunt, she was pregnant at a young age, and she did not feel that she had the support that she needed to birth a child. So she went through with an abortion, and then she instantly regretted it, and she never had a child, and she wishes that she had never gone through with getting an abortion. And to refute her third claim that the ability of women to have control of her body is a civil right, and although it is a civil right for a woman to control her body, the decision of abortion taking place should take into account the father's voice of his unborn child, due to most of the time that it's just that the cases of needing an abortion is that they can't afford it. And the equal protection clauses state, which are a part of the 14th Amendment, claims that no state shall deprive any person of jurisdiction or of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, nor to deny to any person within its jurisdiction the equal protection of the laws. The equal protection clauses are violated when the state or government grants a particular individual the right to engage in an activity, and in doing so, denies other individual rights. Under this theory, it is unfair for the father to be denied a voice in the abortion decision, since both the mother and father share the condition of being parents of the unborn child. By not providing the father's due process of law in the instance of his child being born, and instead relying on the decision of the Roe versus Wade case, which was determined over 40 years ago, men are not provided the protection of the law. The rights of the woman's privacy being viewed as more important than a father's determination of life for his unborn child is unjust, and should have no effect on the outcome of the child's life. In conclusion, the topic of if women can't choose if abortion is necessary, is problematic due to the secondary claims. Thank you.
All right, structurally everything is fine at the beginning. You tell us where it is you're headed to a large degree, and you're just going to follow the structure. On the first point, there is an attempt to diminish the frequency of abortion as a solution to rape, suggesting that rape is not the primary source of most of the abortions. You've got some good statistical evidence that suggests that the primary reason for most abortions are economic issues rather than a result of crime factors, and you've got a couple of statistics that diminish that. I think that that's perfectly fine. The rights issue does come up in a couple of spots here, and there are other rights that are involved. You mentioned the father's rights, and those things seem to be one area of contention that might be part of the problem or part of the process, and identify where a problem exists on this subject. Although I didn't hear any information from either you or from the advocate about what the difference between what the mother wants and what the father wants, and how often that comes up and why it's important. It's as if it's mostly ignored. I think you're missing the obvious set of rights that people are concerned about, and that's the rights of the child. If in fact it is a child and it has rights, then its rights are being violated by its life ending, and that's that 14th Amendment violation that you talk about at the end. The question is, does it have rights? And that's where there's some legal dispute about this issue. That's where there's a lot of controversy on that particular point. On the mental health issue, I mean, your argument starts off by saying basically there isn't any significant difference, which kind of adheres to the position that the advocate is talking about. But you do say when there have been multiple abortions, then there does appear to be some impact. But I don't know what that impact is and how significant or important it is. So I'm not sure that it does a lot to advance the position that you're taking here. Like I said, and then you kind of introduce the personal story, which involves some regret. I think that that's probably a good story. I imagine that there are lots of women who have similar kinds of stories, and it wouldn't be hard to find people who have testified to that and suggest that they have long-standing continuing problems. There may be some other mental health issues. I've seen some statistical information about the frequency of a variety of mental health issues, depression, suicide, that sort of thing, that are sometimes correlated, sometimes it's not. We don't get any discussion of what the details are on this, and I think that's a little bit problematic. And then we get to the civil rights issue, and like I said, you deal with the civil rights issue of the fathers, which is not unimportant, but like I said, I'm not sure it's the most important issue, and there's not really a demonstration that the rights are being contradicted in a particular situation. So is it okay, are all rights acceptable if both the mother and the father agree that the abortion is the way they want to go? I think that that's, again, ignoring the big area of the controversy, which is whether or not a right to life exists for the unborn child, and that's where there is legal controversy, and there are medical issues and questions as to how do we define human life, and when do the rights accrue to a human life, and that's probably where most of the dispute is here. All right, thank you.